President Trump speaking to House Republicans in Doral.
And very importantly, America is respected again.
Caplin News is live with the GOP lawmakers' retreat. Migrants taking extra protective measures.
This is, in some ways, a big show.
As more and more immigration raids take place across the U.S. And understanding the dreamers.
The challenging part has been the emotional side of it.
And how they're navigating Trump's deportation plans. These stories and more coming up on Newsbreak.
Hello, South Florida. I'm Ivani Lewski.
And I'm Stephanie Tenia. Today is Tuesday, January 28, 2025.
Live from the Lee Caplin School of Journalism and Media in North Miami, this is Caplin News.
Departing of President Trump arriving back at the White House overnight. President Donald Trump spoke in Doral at a retreat for GOP lawmakers yesterday.
This while state representatives are looking to pass an immigration bill named after him. Anthony Cruz joins us live from Doral.
Ivana and Stephanie, while GOP officials are working in here to pass Trump's agenda in D.C., state officials in Tallahassee are working to do the same in the state of Florida.
And very importantly, America is respected again. We're respected again. Isn't that nice?
In a public address yesterday, the president boasted about the blitz of executive orders he passed in his first week back in office and even tossed the idea of running for a third term.
I've raised a lot of money for the next race that I assume I can't use for myself, but I'm not 100% sure because I don't know. I think I'm not allowed to run again. I'm not sure. Am I allowed to run again, Mike? I better not get you involved in that argument.
In a week where ICE raids began in South Florida, Trump said in his speech, quote, "I really focus on the border more than anything else." And the need to fulfill the president's wishes has made things tense in Tallahassee, with House Speaker Danny Perez of Miami and Senate President Ben Albertson rejecting Governor Ron DeSantis' call for a special session yesterday, mainly to address mass deportation policy. Leadership did not go home, though, and instead supported an alternative plan filed by State Senator Joe Gruters and Representative Lawrence McClure called the Tackling and Reforming Unlawful Migration Policy, or Trump Act. Perez, who said the governor had some good ideas, but many that were bureaucratic, said this bill, if passed, would repeal in-state tuition for Dreamers, establish Florida Agriculture Commissioner Wilton Simpson as the chief immigration officer, and grant the state additional powers for immigration enforcement without the governor's proposals that Perez said would create a, quote, mini-me version of ICE. Here's the governor's response to the bill on X.
Now, they've named this bill the Trump Act, but that's a misnomer because President Trump's been very strong coming out of the gate on immigration enforcement. He wants to solve this problem once and for all. The bill they did is more window dressing. It is not going to solve the problem.
And two things to look out for today in Doral. Vice President J.D. Vance will be here in the afternoon to speak to the convention. And as for Tallahassee, the vote on the Trump Act will occur around 10 a.m. Reporting for Caplin News, live from Trump National Doral, I'm Anthony Cruz.
Federal immigration authorities are ramping up enforcement operation across the country targeting undocumented migrants with any legal infractions, while families and city brace for widespread impacts and protective measures. Caplin News reporter Gabriela Flores has more details.
This is, in some ways, a big show.
That's how Texas Democrat Representative Joaquin Castro sums up the nationwide immigration roundup.
I think that people generally agree if you have a convicted felon, they should be deported.
On that, there is bipartisan agreement.
If they are indeed criminals, yeah, they're going to be shipped back to their country of origin.
Including how that's done.
Look, everybody should be treated with dignity. Everybody should be treated the right way.
But it's the scope and speed that's concerning.
What Donald Trump is doing now is that he's causing chaos rather than addressing those things.
They're going after people who are law-abiding, who are holding down jobs, who may have been here for a decade or 2 decades.
Illinois is one of several states and territories where the operations are underway.
I had a 4-year-old crying, fearing deportation.
The state's Coalition for Immigrant and Refugee Rights says a hotline to report possible ICE sightings has been ringing non-stop since Sunday's blitz began. Likewise for another such hotline in Arizona.
We've been getting a lot of calls, text messages about different possible raids.
Residents here, like those in other targeted cities, are fearful it's not just criminals the agents will handcuff.
It's a wide net seemingly being casted, and inevitably you'll have effects of racial profiling and upsetting a community that would otherwise collaborate with law enforcement.
I'm Gabriela Flores reporting for Caplin News.
With the ongoing mass deportation plan, changing immigration policies, and the end of many programs created under previous Democratic administrations, many DACA recipients fear for their future. Our reporter Grecia Pacheco is in Miami with more details.
Good morning, guys. DACA recipient or dreamers continue to seek for a permanent status. However, a change in President Trump's narrative from his previous administration to this new term might bring them some answers.
Jocelyn Aguilar is a 29-year-old Mexican that arrived in the U.S. with her undocumented parents when she was only 1 year old. She pursued a medical career but had to drop out to help her parents build a business and take a step forward for them.
To me personally, with DACA, it's never been about people being racist, even though it's always been there for me. But in reality, it hasn't really been that. I think the most challenging part has been the emotional side of it.
Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, or DACA, temporarily protects undocumented immigrants who arrive as children from deportation, granting them a renewable 2-year status and work permit. This program has faced challenges, including Trump's 2017 attempt to end it, which was blocked in court. Now, his stance on DACA has shifted.
And we have to do something about the Dreamers, because these are people that have been brought here at a very young age, and many of these are middle-aged people now.
What are you going to do?
I will work with the Democrats on a plan, and if we can come up with a plan, but the Democrats...
Democratic leaders agree with this statement.
But I think we have to be sensitive for students, for people like dreamers.
Honestly, I think I was more freaked out the first time he came around. I really do hope so, and I know there's been a couple of things he's been saying that he's gonna give us some kind of status, and I honestly think one of the biggest things that he's gonna ask for is having a legal entry.
Jocelyn uses TikTok to share her experience with advanced parole, a special travel permission that allows certain individuals to travel and establish a legal entry, which could help them adjust their status if a permanent pathway is announced.
Trump came in and he can just adjust things, and I feel like people are seeing my videos and they're like, cool, if she did it, we're gonna do it too.
Jocelyn risked leaving the country where she grew up in, fearing she might not come back. But after visiting Mexico for the first time in years, she just shared her journey towards a legal status, the same spirit of millions of immigrants who wants to do the things in the right way. Reporting from Miami, I'm Grecia Pacheco.
New perspective this morning for students and professors on FIU Biscayne Bay campus after a special presentation on the anniversary of the Auschwitz liberation. They heard yesterday from Leslie Rubin Benita, the producer of a documentary called The Last Ones of Auschwitz. As the granddaughter of 4 Holocaust survivors, Leslie took on the mission of interviewing survivors and presenting the video in a format more familiar to young viewers.
I bridged the older generation, so the Holocaust survivors, to this young generation using their platforms, and so whether it's like TikTok, Instagram, or whatever it is, and that's how I bridged the two.
Meanwhile, in Poland, survivors participated in a ceremony to mark their anniversary. In the ceremony, King Charles of England laid a wreath to honor more than 1 million people who died there. You can see more of Leslie's work online by going to her website, thelastOnes.org.
A nonprofit organization provided a free salon day for a group of girls in Tallahassee this past Sunday. Curls for Cranes volunteered to give these girls free hairstyles and a manicure. According to the nonprofit, the purpose of this event was to help increase the young girls' confidence. Another event with 2 other schools is expected to happen in April.
The Miami Heat played the Orlando Magic while Jimmy Butler receives his 3rd suspension.
That's still ahead, and so is this story.
I've always been into fashion. I've always loved it. I've always watched New York Fashion Week.
A North Miami fashion show gave students a shot at New York Fashion Week. Newsbreak will be back in 2 minutes.
See us dream. See us remember. See us protest.
You matter. Your feelings matter. Your identity matters. Everything about who you are matters.
See us fight back. See us rebuild. See us shatter stereotypes. See us inspire. See us united. See us now.
There are 16 million children struggling with hunger in America. That's 1 in 5 daughters, sons, neighbors, and classmates who don't know where their next meal is coming from. Yet billions of pounds of good food go to waste every year. It's time we do something about it. Feeding America is a nationwide network of food banks that helps provide meals to millions of kids and families in need. Visit feedingamerica.org to help them feed even more. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're feeding America.
A unique graduating class and the chance of a lifetime. Last week, the Fashion Institute of Florida hosted a show where students competed for a spot at a New York Fashion Week.
Caplin News reporter Jose Rodriguez has more on the story.
I'm here at Black Box Media in North Miami, where the Fashion Institute of Florida will celebrate its graduating class. But tonight is also a competition, because one of these designers will take their dreams all the way to New York Fashion Week. Let's take a look. The Black Box Media venue in North Miami became the stage where the Fashion Institute of Florida celebrated its 5th graduating class. But for designers like Soraya Littlejohn, this night represents years of dedication and the hope of launching their careers on a global stage.
I've always been into fashion. I've always loved it. I've always watched New York Fashion Week, so it'd be like a super blessing.
During the fashion show, 5 designers took the spotlight and showcased a 3-piece collection that blended craftsmanship and creativity. For former student Phoebe Basulto, this type of events are essential for the next generation of designers.
Having events like this where we can venture out and, promote it and reach other people, other designers in the area, it's really grand for these types of students.
After an intense night of competition, Ariel Templeberg was crowned the winner, earning the opportunity to showcase an entire collection at New York Fashion Week this September.
I was inspired to do something maternity because to me, motherhood is such a beautiful experience in life to highlight. I'm so excited. It feels like a dream come true, and I can't wait to see what I'm gonna do.
Tonight's event showcased the passion and creativity of South Florida future designers. As Ariel now heads to New York Fashion Week, this is just the beginning for these rising stars. Reporting for Caplin News, I'm Jose Rodriguez.
The Miami Heat suspended Jimmy Butler for the 3rd time this month before he even got to play his first game back from his last suspension. In a statement released by the Heat, Butler is suspended indefinitely due to a poor attitude against the team and walking out of practice hours before a game. Despite this, the Heat is still beat the Orlando Magic with Tyler Hero, Bam Adebayo, and Khalil Ware, all scoring double-doubles. The teams went into double overtime where the Heat took the game. The final score was Orlando 119, Heat 125. The Heat will host the Cleveland Cavaliers tomorrow at 7:30. You're watching Newsbreak, and we're coming right back.
Last week, Brandon met a girl on a dating app. One day after work, he finally found the courage to ask her out. No answer. He started to panic. Was he being too pushy? Maybe it was too...
Hey, sorry I didn't respond. I was driving. I would love to go on a date. How does tonight sound?
Brandon tried to play it cool, but inside he knew. A girl so smart, so responsible. She must be a keeper.
How do you know when you've made the right decision? It's the feeling you get in your gut. The one that tells you what's right or wrong. It's the one that says, sure, I can have a drink. Or the feeling that says, okay, I've been drinking. Now what? It's the voice inside you that says, I'm buzzed. Better leave the car when it's time to go. Plan ahead. Catch a sober ride. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Every day,
millions of people are connecting.
and even though we're overcoming obstacles,
watching each other's backs,
And banding together.
we should still make an effort.
We should still make an effort.
to get to know each other,
On a deeper level. Father.
cosplayer,
Mentor.
Actor.
It's time we take a step forward
it's time we take a step forward.
Come together.
and discover
How accepting our differences
can make us stronger.
That's all the time we have for Newsbreak. I'm Stephanie Tenia.
I'm Ivan Ilioski. Get more news anytime at caplinnews.fiu.edu.